All right, welcome everyone. This is Hector from Education USA Ciudad Juarez. This is a friendly reminder that you are muted and your video is turned off. We will like to invite you to type your questions in the chat. Also, this session will be available on our YouTube channel. So therefore it's gonna be recorded for later if you wanna go and check it out again. And we're gonna start the presentation today. This professional roundtable is going to be about arts programs that we have at the undergrad level. So feel free to ask the questions if you have any. But we were going to start by explaining what is Education USA. Education USA is a global network of advising centers. We are located all over the world. We are part of the State Department Bureau of Educational and Cultural Affairs. As I was saying before, we are all over the world, and in this region, which is Canada, Mexico, and the Caribbean, we have like 66 advising centers located in all over the place. So we provide free access to introductory information on the US studies. And our target are students, higher education institutions, governments, NGOs, if we provide accurate, comprehensive, and current information about the full range of accredited US higher institutions in the United States. We have a page, which is educationusa.state.gov, where you can go and look for the advising center near to you. So, and I would like to introduce our participants today. From the Full Sail University, we have Sandra Lisama. She was born and raised in the quaint town of Sanford, North Carolina. Sandra discovered her fascination for the entertainment industry at the age of 16, which is it's kind of cool because it's a young age for discover your passion. She's bringing live music experience and people together. That led Sandra to pursue her bachelor's degree in entertainment business at Full Sail University. Also, she has experience working with the Florida Musical Festival, the EDC Electric Days Carnival, the Sen Awakening Festival, among many other independent promotion companies. So she immediately grew the desire to create new event experience of her own. So we are welcoming you, Sandra. And
thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here.
anything you want to add to this presentation?
Well, yes, I'm a graduate, like you mentioned, from entertainment business, and I'm currently based in the Caribbean. I'm based in Trinidad and Tobago, and I have my husband and I have our own events company here now, where we host our own types of private events, corporate festivals, and I'm also part of the international team at Full Sail, so I get to usually represent the Caribbean and Latin America and visit different partners such as Education USA. So I'm very happy to be here and get to do this virtually now, since we're not able to travel and visit everyone in person.
Thank you. We're happy to have you here. Well, we have also Rihana originally from rural Colorado. She moved to Portland, Oregon to study French and Japanese at Lewis and Clark College. Since then, she's receiving her master's degree as an international education management from the Middlebury Institute of International Studies in 2016. And she has worked with international students at Reed College and now at Pacific Northwest College of Art. She's studying and working abroad in a variety of countries, including France, Greece, Senegal, and Japan, inspired Rihana to seek a career helping and advocating for international students. She enjoys supporting students to navigate the complex system of the United States so they can focus on making the most of education. We are welcome, Rihana. Do you want to add anything to this presentation?
Thank you so much for putting this together and inviting me to be here. I'm really excited to talk about PNCA and to see all the students who are interested in studying art.
Oh, thank you. And also we have a student from Pacific North College. She's Camila Cortina, originally from Mexico, studying her fifth year at Pacific Northwest College of Art. She's currently studying a Bachelor's of Fine Arts and majoring in printmaking. I don't know if Camila wants to add anything to this presentation.
No, just thank you for having me.
Okay. Right, so let's start with this professional roundtable about arts, and I'm gonna ask the first question. So, what are the programs of art that you offer? I don't know if who wants to start first. Okay, do my turns.
I can start if Sandra's okay with that. So at PNCA, so Pacific Northwest College of Art, very long, kind of a mouthful, so we kind of shorten it down to PNCA. So at PNCA, we're really like a design, fine, and media art school. We don't teach much beyond that. So like we don't have music or entertainment. So if you're interested in that, like wholesale seems like a great place to go. But we really focus in on those types of art. So we have 11 majors at the undergraduate level. I would say the most popular courses for international students are illustration, graphic design, and sculpture. But the other popular majors that we have are animated arts and just general fine arts for students who are really more into the fine art side of things and don't want to like focus in on one specific media. So.
What
Awesome.
about you, Sandra?
Well, we do have a lot of different types of arts, but our specifically art and design programs include computer animation, digital arts and design, game art for video games, graphic design. Then we have masters. We have a media designs master's degree, and then we have a couple certificates if anyone's looking for a short-term type of program. We also have a couple with 3D arts and visual design.
Right, it's something that a lot of international students are concerned about are about the internships or hands-on experience that you provide. Do you provide any for those international students?
For us, we do. That's pretty much the whole concept at Full Sail is getting that real world experience. So while students are at Full Sail within their own curriculum, they have like lab time where they really get to work on the different types of projects. Even the hours of their classroom, it's like if they're working full time. So sometimes, you know, game art, you'll have class around 11 o'clock at night just because that's usually when those creative minds, you tend to be more night owls. So we really try to design it that way as well. So besides that, we're right outside of Orlando, and there's a lot of stuff that happens where they recruit our students for as volunteers or interns. So there's a lot of opportunity to not only gain that experience, but also network, which is something we really push.
Mm-hmm. What about Northwest?
Yeah, we also offer internships for international students. It's a requirement for the graphic design and illustration majors. And there's a lot of different design firms, both like big names like White Kennedy and other smaller boutique design firms that are located within Portland. For students who are kind of more on the fine art side of things, there's a lot of different, our students usually will do internships like working for other like sculptors or painters or printmakers within Portland. So there's definitely opportunities there. And we really, work support students in that process. We have a department at our school called Bridge Lab, and that their whole thing is to help students find internships and then prepare for like professional practice and what to do after graduation. That's available to domestic and international students alike.
Okay, in your experience, is there any profile that students should have in order to enter like a art school? Like what should a high school student should need to study in order to get to the art school?
You want to go first? Okay. Well, for us, it's not mandatory for the student to have a portfolio before coming to Full Sail. Our first step is to do an interview before you can even apply. And that's where we really get to see what your interests are besides the academic aspect of school. You know, we want to see if there's, if you do any things outside of school, like leadership positions or just extracurricular activities. The portfolio aspect, you're going to develop that as a student. It is a plus if you have it, but it's not mandatory. But we'll develop that as you're spending your 2 years at Full Sail, so that when you graduate, that portfolio is ready for you to find employment that will help you stand out in the market.
So we're a little bit different. We do require a portfolio for students to apply, but it's just to understand kind of what a student's background is with art and where they're going and what kind of like they've considered. We don't, like other art schools within the United States will might have requirements about what they want to see in the portfolio. For us, we just want to see recent work, so we're done within like the last 2 years, and then it's like in between like 10 to 15 pieces. But it's really a chance for us to just understand kind of like, have students thought about art before, kind of what they've been working with, the materials they've been working with. I would say in general, there's no like prerequisite courses that students need to do. I know that like art education really varies from country to country and even within a country from state to state. So, you know, it isn't really like focused on like what your academic track is, but we would like to see like kind of what you have done. And that kind of gives us a sense of whether you'll be successful within our programs or not. But yeah, so like I said, it's the most important part of our application, I would say. And then I have like a lot of like pointers I can give for like what we want to see in a portfolio. Like I really try to steer students away from like fan art. We want to kind of see more original designs or drawings or any kind of, you know, it doesn't really matter what kind of medium the art is produced in, whether that's digital or you know, physical, 3D or 2D. It can be like music, it can be video, you know, kind of whatever people have access to. We understand that like not all tools are available to students in their different backgrounds. So yeah.
Okay. I would like to ask Camila about this process, about how it was for her, like if it was any audition or it was a portfolio, when it was difficult, it was easy. What kind of advice can you give to another international student who wants to do this process?
For me, I had to apply with a portfolio, and it was a little bit stressful for me because I didn't know if like what I had was okay because I didn't had that much work. But I would say just kind of like trust your work and talk to people around you and see, like, get as much feedback as you can and like see what you can create from that.
No, thank you, Camila. Another aspect that international students are very concerned about is student services. Do you provide as a college any student services for international students or for students in general?
I can speak to this, go first on this one. So yeah, we definitely provide student services for international students. I kind of am the international office at PNCA. We're a pretty small school, so with a small international student population. So I support all the international students. I give them guidance on how to maintain their status as an F1 student in the country. Help them with like work opportunities both on campus and how to get work authorization off campus. Once they have a job opportunity, how to get a social security card. I try to connect international students to each other and then to other offices and departments on campus. So if they have like a question, I have a lot of students who will email me first and I'll send them to the right place to go. I do a little bit of basic academic advising to make sure that students are going to graduate in time and that the classes they're taking actually apply to their degree. I do some programming. I have like a tea time that I meet with students every 3 weeks. We do it virtually now because of the pandemic. But just kind of touch base and talk about, you know, things that are going on at the school or in their lives, or, you know, we'll talk about cultural differences. We just had one today, like 2 hours ago, and we talked about like different foods that are from different countries because our international students don't come from one specific country, they come from all over the world. So I have a student from Jamaica and a student from Georgia, a student from Vietnam, a student from the UAE, a student from Pakistan. And so we kind of all get together and kind of chat, you know, if they're able to. We also do different events during International Education Week. I try to connect students to alumni and then I'll also try to connect prospective students to current students to kind of get an idea of what their experience has been at PNCA. I mean, I can tell you all the great things about PNCA, but I think it means more to come from a student who's like had that lived experience. And then I also help students navigate the tax process if they have worked while they're here in the United States. And then I, you know, connect them to housing resources, banks, medical insurance, all that sort of thing. So, and then in general, I just try to advocate for students and make sure that their voices are heard while they're at PNC.
Sandra, any other services that you provide that may be different or I don't
Well,
know.
pretty much everything Rihanna said that's what's available from our international department. We try to make sure that the students is just taken care of until the day they graduate and even start looking for employment and all that. But we do also have an International Student Society, which is our club for international students, actually one of our biggest ones on campus. So besides you having, support from the international like admissions department, you have your club where they do all the fun stuff. They're the ones having the parties and all the more social events. So that's an opportunity then for them to meet either people from the same country or just different parts of the world as well that are coming to study at Full Sail.
That's nice. I have a couple of questions for Camila. And the first one is, why did you choose the US for study art? What did you like make you?
I
United
chose
States?
the US to study art because the schools offer a lot of resources in one place. They offer not only like teachers that are working artists and the facilities, but also like uh, resources to more academic parts of art as well, like books about how to just kind of like develop your understanding of art. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, and what are your plans after graduation? Do you have any plans like uh, maybe OPT, maybe working there, maybe another exchange? What are your plans?
Right now, I'm not really sure what plans I have, but I think that's kind of like the nature about art is very like malleable, kind of like water. You never know when you're going to end up in your like artistic career, I would say.
Hmm. Any challenges you have faced so far that you encounter in your experience?
Yeah, I would say like as anyone who lives in like a foreign country, you always deal with like the cultural barrier. So like you get homesick, and the food is a big important like challenge. uh, and also like you know when you speak in your language, you have certain ways that you like are kind of like grown up to understand and perform. And when you go to a country where they don't speak your native language, you have to like learn how they communicate, and sometimes that's really hard just to like learn the cues of how they behave and how they present themselves. And sometimes you can do something that it's not really like coded and they don't understand, so that can make you feel like outcast.
Mm. Wow, yeah, that's difficult. Going back to that question that I did to Camila, what type of job opportunities does a international student have after they finish their degree? Is there any?
Right now, they offer me the opportunity to work with the international department and with other students who are part of the international department as well. And it's been really rewarding to talk to people from different places.
That's nice. What about Sandra and Rihana? Do you have any experience working with international students and guiding them through this process?
Yes. So if they want to work while they're still studying at Full Sail, there are a couple jobs that are available for international students to apply. We can't guarantee you that you're going to get the job because you have to go through your own interview with that department who is doing the hiring. But the thing is, you're only allowed to work up to 20 hours a week due to your student visa. But let's say once the student is approaching graduation, we have a department called career development that then sits with the student to talk about what their plans are after graduation, what type of job opportunities they're looking for, and where they're willing to relocate. So that advisor will then, after they've graduated, be sending them job leads And that's pretty much our way of assisting students finding employment and connecting with people who are looking for, you know, what our students is looking for. So that's how we help.
Rihana?
Yeah, I'd say it's very similar. There are only a couple of positions on campus that international students can do. There's some limitations, and that's, I think, the same across any university or college in the United States. And then after the first year of study, students can apply for curricular practical training, and that's how we allow students to do like paid internships. And again, that also has a limitation of 20 hours per week. And then after they graduate, I help students apply for OPT and to have their year of working in the United States. We have, like I mentioned before, our Bridge Lab will help students, like, you know, get their resume together. They'll work with it. They can also work with their mentors to kind of you know, prepare a professional portfolio. A lot of students work on creating their own websites, trying to get their brand and their work out there. And then there's a variety of different positions that students can apply to depending on what they study. I'd say students do a lot of freelance work, especially like in the design world. I actually had one student who was able to get ended up working at a position that their faculty had not really offered to them, but like had told them about. So there's a lot of like chances to like network with the faculty, because most of our faculty are working professionals, like artists and designers as well. In terms, there's a lot of different like career paths out there, and students kind of go, you know, where their art and education leads them. So some students will have an idea of what they want to do when they first come in, and that might change drastically by the time they graduate.
Right. So I would like to give the audience the opportunity to ask some questions to our guest speakers. So if you have any, please send those to Q&A Luis Fernandez. He's receiving all those questions, and he's gonna pass those on us to ask the question from a panel. So right now is the time. I don't know if you guys want to talk a little bit more about any of your programs, like your special programs you have, your star programs you have at your university.
I would say illustration is probably like the biggest, is the most popular major, but it's also like the biggest department in our school. I'd say about 1/6 of our population studies illustration because it's such a strong program. There's a lot more class electives to choose from, and it's just a really well-run program. I also want to mention that Camilla is a freshman in her first year, so she has started in the pandemic at PNCA. So her not having an idea of where she wants to go is kind of, I think, normal, I think, if you're going into an art school. And the really cool thing I think at our school is that, so we require a thesis at the end of your final year. There's a thesis requirement, and it's like really just a project, whatever students want to do. And it's really open-ended. So I've seen like graphic design students. One was he's an international beatboxer, and so he created a visual thing that will respond to his different sounds he makes while he's beatboxing, and that was his thesis. So it's really like wide range. I have one thesis that is coming up. This is our thesis week right now. But one thesis that another graphic design student is doing is a podcast. So even though he has like no experience with audio, he's kind of learning it in this thesis thing to try to connect Black and Indigenous people of color who are like in the United States in the arts. And so there's like a lot of different, it's really kind of up to you as an artist to kind of just like build what you want to learn and study what you want to learn, and then like making those connections and really building up and developing your own artistic style and voice. So anyways, I'll give Sandra a chance to talk some more.
It's okay, thank you. Sandra?
Thank you. No, that sounds really cool. Our school, some of our more popular in-demand programs are like film production, also game design, anything with gaming, since that's just the industry that's really been booming, and our esports team has We've done a lot in the industry as well, and we have an esports arena, which is another magnet towards that department. Since COVID happened, the programs that have really been booming since last year have been our technology programs, which include like computer science, simulation, and visualization. Anything technologically related, that's really what's been blowing up. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to drop a link in the chat box with where you can just click and you'll see the list of all of the degrees, whether it's a bachelor or a master's that you're looking into.
Nice. We have a couple of questions from the audience. I don't know if Luis, can you open your mic and help us out?
Sure.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, we have a few questions, and I'm going to start with one that you guys already mentioned, but I think that it's also important, and it goes like this. What is the most important part of a portfolio? I have never done one, and I do not know how to start.
So for our portfolio, it's just really art that you're proud of, that you enjoyed making. It can really be, and what it like in our application process, you just upload an image, and there's a place that you can describe like what it is, like its size, if it's like something that you created with like your hands, like how big it is, you know, what mediums you use. So if you're using like markers or paints or like what kind of paint. And you can, if there's a story behind the art that you're creating, like there's a chance to like, you can kind of like type that in there. But so it's not really, so like you'll see more like professional portfolios that kind of will be like, well, like designed by the artists themselves. And that's not exactly what we're looking for. We just want to see like a portfolio is kind of big and scary, but what we just want to see is what you've created and what you're proud of and what you want to like kind of explore more of. So any examples of work that you've created?
That's pretty much the same thing for us. We just really want to see what you've created, any original work. Although, like I mentioned, the portfolio is not mandatory for you to apply to Full Sail, because when you are at Full Sail within your curriculum, you will be developing that professional portfolio. But I do recommend, like, if you're now in high school, like go to YouTube. There's like a ton of videos for how to develop a portfolio that's going to stand out. I recommend it always, just because as you develop as a professional and your techniques change and your skill sets change, just to see how you've come, you know, throughout the years and how your, you know, artistic abilities have changed. It's great just to have it for yourself, you know. So if you're just trying to explore how to even begin, just go to YouTube. Go to YouTube and see how you can put your original work together just to look nice, and, you know, something that you keep as a memory for yourself too when as you grow professionally.
I have like two
And
more
I would
comments.
also,
Okay. Oh, sorry.
okay. Yes,
I
Rihana,
forgot.
go ahead.
You should really try to, when you document your work. So if you're like trying to present it, you should make it presented as you want it to be seen. So I've seen students who like submit it upside down, or like with like distracting things like carpet in the background. Like you really want to like try to like crop it so it's exactly like how it's meant to be seen. And then you can even do that on your phone. I've done demonstrations of like little apps that you can use to like, you know, take a picture of something and then like edit it so it's exactly how you made it to be seen. And then I also want to say that most schools will offer like portfolio evaluations before you even apply. So I know that you know, the students can reach out to admissions and like meet with one of the admissions counselors to get feedback about their portfolio before they even start the application process. So you can have an idea of like what you should include and shouldn't include.
I was going to add that they could and offer you guys that if they have any questions that they could reach out to you and ask you. I guess that it must be difficult, especially when you don't know what is expected of you, no, especially in arts, because it could go one way or another. So yeah, so thank you. And I have another question. Do you guys offer any graduate programs in performing arts?
We don't offer anything in performing arts. Everything that we have for entertainment is like what goes on behind the scenes, so more of the production design part of it.
So yeah, we don't, additionally, we don't have anything that's specifically performing arts. We have one major that is like called intermedia, and it's much more like students who do sort of performance art will usually major in that. That's at the undergraduate level as well. All of our graduate level is much more theory-based and concept-based and very open-ended. So the most popular graduate program we have is visual studies. And so it's medium blind. It's really about students going deeper into their practice and into the research behind their practice.
The next question, I believe it's for everybody, including Camila. And the question is, what does art mean for each of you, and how has it changed their lives? Your lives, I'm sorry.
We're trying to see who goes first. I can go first. For me, although I am more focused on like entertainment business, like for me, my art is bringing my ideas of an event to life and really just like working that magic and bringing the puzzle pieces together. Like that's my form of art. That's what I see as art, and working with, you know, musicians and learning more about them and how I can make my events, you know, resemble them as well, you know, and really create an experience that connects the audience to the musicians that we're showcasing for, you know, any type of event. But I think art is just part of many aspects of life, whether it's cooking or you are painting and doing fine arts. That's how it is for me.
I will respond with the caveat that I'm like the only person at PNCA who is not like a working artist. But I do enjoy cooking a lot, making art out of that. But I don't know, for me, it's kind of what makes life enjoyable. Even though I don't create art, I consume a lot of it in terms of like, you know, web comics or animes or dramas or whatever, you know, music I listen to, like that's all art, and that kind of is what makes like life enjoyable. It's like, you know, gets you through a pandemic when you can't see your loved ones. So I don't know, like that. My favorite time of year at the school is this week that we have. We call it Focus Week, and it's when all the students present their thesis, and I just find it so amazing to see what students do and have like their education and what they do with their art practice, and it encourages me to be more creative and to kind of think outside of the box. So I mean, art is like, you need it, it's necessary.
Yeah, for
yeah.
sorry.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say for me, it also it's like art is also life. It's just like a way to cope with everything. And I like, for me, I cannot remember like not being involved with art, like just drawing when I was little, or just like being around art is just kind of like life, you know. Art is life and a way to communicate.
Thank you very much. Thank you to the three. And I have another question. They're wondering if you could give a little bit more information about animation opportunities.
Yeah, so our computer animation program, you're still going to go through the same process of having to go through an interview, and then once you've been approved, you'll be able to formally apply to Full Sail. But with computer animation, you're going to learn all aspects of computer animation. So you're going to learn about like the 2D, 3D arts. You're going to learn about environmental animation. When you look at video games and you're seeing the trees and all the naturey stuff, like you're going to learn how to do that. You're going to learn how to do architectural animation. So when you're looking at movies like Harry Potter and you're seeing the castle and all that, you're going to learn how to create all of that. So you're going to learn various aspects of animation and CGI and everything with special effects. That way your skill sets are as versatile as possible. And then once you graduate, I mean, it's up to you if you want to specialize, but I mean, a lot of students end up graduating and working in not just one area, but just implementing everything that they learned at Full Sail. Actually, I can drop the link for our computer animation program in the chat box if you want to explore what the courses would entail and all of that.
Please, thank you.
So it's actually great that Full Sail's here because our animation programs are very different. So like our animation, we call it animated arts, and it's using animation as like an art medium. So it's not so as focused on like the industry-based thing, but just is using animation to create. Something that we still offer within our animation department is stop motion animation, and we have the equipment to do that. And that's, you know, there is still students who animate with computers, but we also have the stop motion side of things. Which is great because Leica, which is a big motion picture company, is based in Portland, and they made like Coraline, and we've had students who've done internships there. So it's you know, a great connection that we have. But yeah, we had an international student who graduated in the animated arts, and he actually has used his thesis animation that he made and submitted it to different film festivals and had it viewed in different film festivals around Oregon and nationally. So yeah, I'll also add the link to the animated arts.
And I have one more question. They would like to know if you guys offer anything in acting or performing arts.
We don't offer anything in acting or performing arts, just our film production, which is focused everything behind the camera, behind the lens. I'll drop the link to, oh, sorry. The link though for our film and television programs though, in case you're interested in anything like that.
We also don't have anything that's performing art or acting. There is a college in Seattle that's kind of another small art school like we are, and I can provide their information. It's called Cornish. And that's usually where I'll send students who are interested in living like on the West Coast. Yeah, if they're interested in performing arts, because we really just don't have that.
Okay, Hector, that's all of the questions that we have. And that's it. Thank you.
Oops.
Thank you, Luis. And we're sharing Sandra's and Rihana contact information on the screen. So if you want to send them an email or any questions, that they're going to be happy to answer to you. And also we have, well, I'm going to give a couple of minutes for them if you want to like take a picture or take a screenshot about it, or maybe write down the email if you're old school like myself. But yeah, also I would like to thank you for being here today and share all this important information. I don't know if you want to add anything to this presentation before we say goodbye to our audience.
Well, just thank you for inviting us to this info session, or I mean roundtable, sorry. And please don't hesitate to send me an email if you have any questions or want to have a one-on-one meeting to talk about a specific program. I'm here to help.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us. And if you don't find the programs that you're interested in at Full Sail or PNCA, there's a bunch of different art schools in the United States that you should check out. And really, I think I would recommend doing research and making sure that the school that you're applying to has the programs that you're interested in, has like all of them, so that if your interests change, you can pivot and study what you want, like change into what you want to study. So that would be my recommendation. And if we don't, you're also welcome to reach out to me. If we don't have it, I'll put you in contact with people who do. So.
Thanks. And also I would like to mention that this professional roundtables, as you see, it's only 2 universities, but there's a whole universe of colleges in the United States. So maybe the art programs, the theater program that you're looking for, it's in another university. Just reach out to your advisor and the Education USA Center near to you, and he can help you out, or she can help you out to this searching for universities and colleges. So also, I would like to share our information. We have a bunch of pages, a bunch of social media. So if you want to reach out to us, you can go to Facebook and Education USA MX. Also, you can go to Twitter. We have YouTube channel. We have an application with this Education USA Mexico, which is pretty cool. We have Instagram, and we have also a blog or a page, which is full with a lot of resources like scholarships available from another entities. Also resources for studying for admission tests like TOEFL or SAT or ECT. So go to all those pages and you can find a lot of information from us. Anything not more to add? I would like to thank our guests today, Camila, Sandra, and Rihana, for being here. And don't forget that we have these professional roundtables every month. So check all these Facebook pages and we are updating this information for you. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Have a great
Thank
night.
you.
Thank
You too.
you.